been a few weeks since we did a little tour of the room or even organized any of the toys. So today is going to sort of be what I'm calling an impact day, where I call in some recruits and we go to town just finishing organizing what's left of this room. So today we're going to look at Beetlejuice stuff, some of my Tim Burton stuff, and then of course Muppets and Sesame Street. So before we jump into the fast-paced organization side of things, let's just do a brief tour of like where are we at today. All right, this room is a little bit messy still, but that's okay. So upon entry, you are greeted with a myriad of things. You can see the original Eureka's castle. It's kind of like a print from a toy show into the toy shelves that are sort of like a collection of things that I really like, or some things that represent the IPs and licenses that I really like. Over here is the backdrop where I film a lot of little knickknacks, a lot of different characters that sort of maybe didn't fit into certain things. Over there we have the Gremlins. So starting on top, onto that second shelf. Still need to arrange some stuff. Some things still don't fit. Into Ghostbusters, which again, still a work in progress, but I did just get this little like shelf expander and it was perfect for those little guys. I had them in this case here, but it's just too big for the shelves. I love those cases, but the more I organize, the less room I have for those. Here is Beetlejuice. You can see I just have that stuff just thrown on the shelf. A lot of it's not open. Into Garfield, and then the Unknown below that. As we move to this side, we have Pee-wee, which still needs some love. Tim Burton needs some love. Toy Story, which is pretty well established. And then some bath and pet toys from when I was younger. Over here is the middle of the room. So we have, again, a collection of different things. We have some kitty cat blind boxes and Tato. We have Sino's Dream Circus, some Power Rangers, some Pee-wee. And then on the bottom, we have some more Toy Story, Wall-E, and then Indiana Jones. Over here, we're on the bottom, we have just a collection of different things from movies on the left, movies and TV, some toy stuff on the right, in the middle, more toy stuff, and then more movie stuff on the left and TV. What else? Oh, here, again, just a collection of different things. I think this really makes my collection look like a toy store, which is pretty cool. And right behind that, we have the Sesame Street sign with plush dolls. Then behind that is what I am going to be massively working on today, just organizing, getting stuff out for Muppets and Sesame Street. And a lot of what's in place now will probably be moved. Coming on to this side of the room, a little bit closer where I was standing. Again, I'll do a deeper tour later on. I just wanted to give an overview. We have my movable shelves in front of my closet. But on the bottom there, we have games-related things. Then we have Puff and stuff. And then the top two are more puppet-related shows and IPs. Along with the top one. Haven't really gotten to that yet, but, I mean, finishing it. It's obviously started. In the corner here, we have a lot of plush. And as we move over, we have Lost in Space on top. Moving into more sci-fi / kids like adventure type shows. I don't know what they're even called, but like Superhuman Samurai, Beetleborgs, more of that, morphing into horror, some horror figures, into more on the bottom. As we start to round out the room, we have some Power Rangers Zeo stuff, into Doctor Who, and then Power Rangers in Space on this shelf with Pee Wee Herman just randomly there. Doctor Who, and then the last over here, we have Star Wars with a big focus on Ewok, Droids, and Yoda, Grogu. So I'm going to be putting up a few more shelves on the walls just so I'm maximizing space. But that's generally the room. It's starting to come together really well. I really like the feel of it. It feels much smaller now than it did. I didn't realize how much stuff I had, and this closet is packed full of stuff. But, you know, it is what it is. I love it all. So, yeah, join me as we organize the remainder, hopefully, big hopefully, of my toy room. stopped a few hours in, got a little overwhelmed. It's typically what happens after spending a whole month working on it. I guess my body and mind have adjusted, but without further ado, here's what has been done. You can see I have Fraggle Rock figures out with the NECA Sesame Street, as well as the Blockies Sesame Street. Down on the next shelf, we have the Muppet Playsets. So all of the Palisades figures will be out here. You can see them all laying there and just sort of thrown. This shelf will be dinosaurs, doozers, miscellaneous. And then down here again, more miscellaneous, Fraggle Rock, Sesame Street, whatever else we need to fit. Over here, started with the Jim Henson City Critters. Have the Jim Henson and Ernie. I need to find Jim Henson and Kermit. Next shelf is starting with my Muppet Star Wars. So I have that hallway from like the Death Star or an Imperial ship. I put some Yip Yips in front of it just because I didn't want to waste space. Next we have like a cantina. Just got that. Putting the rest of my Star Wars out. And then over here, didn't really do much. Making room for some box sets of Palisades that I have. This shelf got my Gonzo prototype. Moved over these. And then I hung up my Elmo Monster Factory puppets. So not too much. Like I said, I was really ambitious and wanted to finish a bunch of stuff, but that's all right. I'm not really in a hurry, but always good to stick to a plan, but not today. That's all right. Well, thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you later.